Welcome everyone to Discovering Disabilities in Dearborn. I'm your host, Ali Darwish.
محمد عوادة
رشاد الغول.
And today we're going to have a very good conversation with a guest that doesn't really need much of an introduction in our community, but I'll introduce him anyways. Ibrahim Abaid, also known as Halal Food Junkie in our community. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Halal Food Junkie.
So I eat food for a living. I have a food page, Halal Food Junkie. Little bit to get a little personal. I got 3 brothers. I have one twin brother that has a disability. He's cognitive impaired. So that's why we're here today. And we're gonna dive in deep a little bit of my personal life more than just the superficial social media life.
Wow. We respect that a lot. And the fact that you're being vulnerable here and talking about a conversation like this, I think it's very good for the community to know. We would have loved to have Aki here with us personally, but he couldn't come here today, unfortunately. Maybe on future episodes we can have him. But yeah.
He'll give you the famous thumbs up.
Yeah.
Aki, we're here, man.
So, of course, we want to talk about all of these things, get into the personal stuff, talk about your experiences with him, and we can jump right into the questions.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So, to begin, first of all, just to begin without the personal stuff, how does it feel to be on a podcast? I know this is not your first podcast session.
Yeah. It's like my 4th podcast. The first time I did it, it was very I was nervous. I felt like I was at a TV show, like, hey, am I saying something wrong?
Yeah.
What am I saying? Is someone gonna attack me? You know, stuff like that. But now I'm just like, whatever, you know, just get used to it. It's like getting in front of the camera. When I first started HFJ, I would never show my face for like the first year. I don't know why. Wow. Yeah, like I didn't would show my face. I would just post videos. Because growing up, you know, going to Forts and whatever, like, you know, there's always people like, and anywhere you're at, it's not only Dearborn though, like you got people judging you and stuff like that. Hey, what are they gonna think of you? Blah, blah, blah. And then one day I was like, and this has always been my personality, by the way. I've always been an outgoing, charismatic guy, very chill, you know what I'm saying? So when I started showing myself on camera, I was like, bro, I'm showing who I am, like who I really am. This is my personality, outgoing, you know, this and that. And it took me until 23 years old to finally break out of that shell. You know what I'm saying? And then from time to time, I just put in my head that everyone's, like, this is my new motto. Everyone's busy in life. Even though they're watching, everyone doesn't have time to sit and critique everyone has their own type of life. So, I don't know, you gotta get back going.
No, that's a very good point, man. It seems like if we're constantly caught up in how people perceive us, and we'll never make progress in life. So it's just good to be who we are and, you know, transparent. And you're having a very big impact on your viewers, what they're seeing, and the fact that you come out of your way and do these things, and you do things aside from your food vlogs and stuff like that. That has a very big impact on the community. So we want to touch on that a little bit. You talked about high school briefly, so let's jump into that.
Yeah.
We want to talk to you about your experiences with your brother, your twin brother. How was it like growing up with a brother with a disability? Just tell us a little bit about your experiences of having a brother with a disability who's cognitively impaired on the autism spectrum.
It was really tough, I'm not gonna lie. In middle school, I remember he would get bullied sometimes, and then I'll never forget, I was a freshman in high school, and then he got bullied, and then he came home, like, started crying a lot. And it broke my heart, you know what I mean? Knowing that he can't really defend himself and stuff. And I remember my older brother, he doesn't take anything. Like, this guy, like, will snap, you know what I'm saying? And then he's like, bro, like, I'll go to that school, blah, blah, blah. You know how it is, you know, just defending your brother. And then going into high school, me personally, I think I was selfish, straight up. Like, I would just be with my friends, you know the high school life, like trying to get to know a girl, just being self-centered.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really being self-centered. And I remember, like, we'd go to school, my dad would drop us off, and then Aki, like, you know, I would take him here, and then he would go upstairs. I felt like I wasn't as affectionate towards him or as genuine. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I didn't know this, but, like, I think he used to go through, like, like a lot, kind of like in school and stuff. You know, I personally wish, man, wallah, if I can go back, I would do some things differently, like being more affectionate, being more around him in school, you know, seeing what he's doing, stuff like that. That's one thing I regret, you know. And then like progressing over time over the years, you know. So after high school, I think I was second year of college. Aki, my dad tried putting him 1 year in college. He took one class in Haram. He was like super how do I say, very like had a lot of anxiety, all that kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, after that, we stopped putting him in school because we knew he couldn't make it. Like we knew he couldn't make it. So after that, do you want to keep on continue? Or?
Yeah, no. I really like the you know, when you brought up the point about when they were bullying him, and then you said that your brother wouldn't stand for it. Like, what did you guys do in that situation? I know now I feel like there's more awareness about just bullying in general.
Yeah.
And it's something that's addressed more. But I know in the past that wasn't like as big of a thing. Like, what happened like in that situation?
In that situation, more like going back to it, I don't remember too much, but I remember my brother getting really mad and like wanting to do something, but of course, you know you can't do anything. But we would like talk to the teachers and stuff like that, and then alhamdulillah, we always had like great parapros that were around him. Yeah. To this day, we know and we still talk to. You know, there's like there's a few things like back in the day, like I think if they could have been done, could have been better. You know what I'm saying?
Was he like getting accommodations during that time in high school, for example, where like were they giving him extra support? Was he going to therapy during his time in high school, middle school?
We weren't doing therapy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, that's I think one thing that the thing is, mental health wasn't so big back in 07, 08. Yeah. Like it was not really like put out there and stuff like that. But I think if we could go back, I think me and also my parents, I think would have discovered more about therapy and whatnot and doing more things. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Yes. I know that you talked a little bit about how you want to do a little bit more than food, and I noticed like a lot of times you do post on your stories or you do make posts about spreading awareness about disabilities. Yeah. You know, what do you think about like, or do you have any plans to do more stuff like that, or what do you think about that in general? Just using your platform to do more than food and just talking about disabilities as well.
So I have so there's this one group in Dearborn. It's called Blue Hands United. I'm not sure if you guys ever hear about it.
Yeah, we're trying to partner with them right now. We actually established some really good connections so far. Yeah, and they're an amazing resource. If anyone's watching this, listening to this, check them out. Check out the resources. Yeah, check them out on Instagram, Blue Hands United. Mona Alawiya, she's really great. Her partner and their husband, and their partner and her husband, the guy that I know, Najjar, I believe so, that's the name. Very great family. So I got to know them on a personal level where I actually sat with Blue Hands United, one of the co-founders' husband, at my house until like 1 a.m. and we were just talking about like so many personal stuff. It was crazy. Like from his family to his kids, because he has kids that are, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you guys know this, his kids are autistic. Yeah. Are you talking about Mariam? The other person, is it Mariam? Yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah, I had a really good conversation with her over the phone, and we talked about just her experiences and what she's doing with the community of people with disabilities. So yeah. So like with that, I made connections with them. I been talking to a clinical psychologist just this last couple days. You know, what I want to do is honestly get a group of kids in the youth. You know, set something up with sports or whatever. We just need a facility or somewhere, and then that clinical psychologist will sit with 4 kids, or like a group of kids at a time or one-on-one, and just talk to them. And just, you know, like, plus she's a clinical psychologist. Like, I am not a psychologist. I can't answer questions. I wouldn't know how to go about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's something I want to do in the future. And these are people with disabilities? The people who the psychologist is talking to, or just people from It could be both. Okay. It could be both. Because honestly, you know what? It's not even about disabilities anymore. People are going through mental, and you guys can attest to this. Like they're going through mental, like health. Like everyone's going through mental health. Yeah. I remember you talking about this at the mosque one time. It's like that same idea that we talked about that one time after, like when you said you wanted to make like the program for the youth. Yeah. I still want to do it. Just everyone's so busy. The thing is, I need someone
that I can come and like kind of push, but I want to help out. You know what I'm saying? And they can really run the show, you know. But still working on it, you know.
I think the nice thing about our community is you get to like, there are so many people, and it's so close knit that, you know, you can find out interesting things about people by talking to them, right?
Yeah.
So I remember in Texas, we were speaking about this, about like you, for example, going around to different schools, right? And giving presentations as, you know, as the person you are, as a public figure in our community, right? You can be inspirational to these kids. You can even take Aki with you, for example, right? That would be a good idea. Maybe he can connect to some of them, you know, describe how it was growing up. And he can also be an inspiration for them, and you know, the clinical psychologist that you were just talking about, you guys can all plan that together. You know, it doesn't have to be necessarily a thing where you're waiting to get a place for you, you know, to set up and then people come to you. You can go to them, you know, and I think that would be like very beneficial, you know, because a lot of people, they might be too embarrassed to go to a clinical psychologist, you know, for any reason. You know, they don't really make their whatever they're dealing with, whether it's a mental illness or not.
So kind of like an assembly, you're trying to think like set up an assembly or something smaller, maybe in a classroom.
Yeah, a classroom.
That's actually a very good idea.
Actually a great idea.
I was thinking about doing that. Actually, my cousin, he's also cognitively impaired and on the spectrum, and you know, I talked to him about like the podcast, and he wants to come on and stuff like that. But I also talked to him about when I give presentations, because that's what I'm doing right now. I give presentations to schools. I talked to him about coming on and just sharing his stories and experiences with being bullied as a individual with who's cognitively impaired and has various disabilities, and just talking about his experiences, because we need to hear people's stories.
Yeah,
you know, that's why we're creating this platform, to hear people's stories, to discover disabilities in Dearborn, and you know, by doing that, we can hopefully destigmatize it, improve people's understanding of disabilities, educate the community, and hopefully help people, because everyone's stories need to be heard, you know. So that's what we're trying to do with this podcast. And you mentioned mental health, 100% mental health, and it's getting a lot of focus. It's getting a lot more focus. I think you guys could agree, more than before. But with disabilities, we just feel like it's having its own set of disparities that are not being addressed as much as other aspects of mental health. And, you know, there's some overlap between disabilities and mental health ideas, but we're just solely focusing on disabilities because it's so complicated.
It's a great niche. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
you know?
It really is.
Wanted to say, so on my page, right? I noticed over time, so the whole food aspect is great and everything. I like it, but at the same time, I know deep down there's a way bigger picture in life. I think we spoke about this in Dallas. I spoke to you about it in the mosque, and we talked about it in the summer last year.
Yeah.
That this food page, like, it's great and everything, and I love it, but I'm happy that I have the platform I have because I want to spread awareness and like about different things. You know what I'm saying? Especially mental health. That's one. Just about reflecting too in life, man. Like knowing that there is a bigger picture. Like this week alone, I was reflecting at night, and I went on a rampage on my story just talking about like, hey, what's your guys like I didn't even know my purpose in life, you know what I'm saying? Like in my early 20s, you know what I'm saying? Like I was always lost, whatever. Imagine me, all of us as people that don't have a disability and are already confused, and we don't know how to deal with stress, we don't know how to deal with being mad. Imagine having a disability on top of, you know what I'm saying?
That's a very good perspective.
Yeah, I saw that's the whole thing with behavioral therapy. I worked as a behavioral therapist for 1 year.
Yeah.
And the whole focus of like the client that I worked with was just helping them manage their stress responses. Like if they got something or if something happened that they didn't want to happen, helping them know how to react to that, because normally they might just go into a tantrum, and just teaching them the behavior so that they don't do something that could harm them or those around them. It just helps them so much.
We need, like you mentioned, we're already confused as individuals. We have enough stress on our lives as is. Imagine the stress and the difficulties that people with disabilities face, the stories that we're not hearing enough in our community. So by raising awareness, we could, get them resources to better help them.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the future, when this page gets bigger, we could, inshallah, like have more resources for our community and supporting people with disabilities.
I really think, you guys need to do is getting like actual parents if they want to be on there.
That's the plan. Hopefully, either parents.
It's like getting listen. So something with HFJ. This is what I wanted to say earlier, but I also forgot to say this. My page, I realized it's the voice for the voiceless. You know what I'm saying? When the whole flood came with Abdullah Hamoud and stuff like that, forget the followers part. I gained over 2,000 in that 1 month time. It was crazy. Why? Because we were inside people's homes. We were cleaning up the furniture. We were getting screenshots. I was getting screenshots of, hey, come to my house. I don't know any of these people. Like, come to my house. Come here. Come there. Come there. All that kind of stuff. We were doing that at that time. You know what I'm saying? And what happened? I realized I was like, oh my God, this page is so much bigger than food. It's literally a community page where you can really help out people when you least expect it. So same thing with this podcast. This is gonna bring out all the fears and the nights of these parents when they're with their kids, dealing with the stress that they have. Because I heard it first and foremost with parents during COVID, their kids were breaking walls, breaking stuff, like. You know what I mean? Imagine. And then we got, everyone else. Let's be honest, bro. We go on vacations. We'll go see people. We're enjoying our life. But these parents, they didn't sign up for this. This came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know what I'm saying? So, like, from them,
how's it like? How was it like in your house, like, during the pandemic? Was it tough for Aki? Would you like to comment on that? Or
yeah, I mean, it was tough. But what the good thing about our family is, though, I'm going to be honest, is, like, we're... Like, we can also sit home, though, all day and just, like, kind of chill.
Just chillish.
Play video games, talk to each other, you know what I mean? So us, like, we're all, like, Aki's, like, the guy, but, like, we'll work around him. See, with some families, I'm not sure how it works.
How does that look like? Different. How does, like, working around him look like?
So, unfortunately today, like, let's say if he would have came, I would have had to wake him early. It took me at least, like, another hour just to, like, get him ready, because he doesn't want to come. He has to drink his coffee.
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning.
He still needs caffeine.
Everyone needs their coffee in the morning.
Right? And then he would probably eat something small. Or if I don't eat up he eats something small at home, I was like, oh, go get him some food. I'm like, of course. Plus with Halal Food Junkie, it's like walk into any place like, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
they know their deal. And then Aki will get his sandwich and stuff. But yeah, no. So like, let's say if I don't take him out, he'll hang out with my parents till like 2, 3, and then I'll do my morning work wherever I have to be. I'll literally drive back home and I'm like, okay, hey, let me take it. Like, there's days where like, if I go 2, 3 days without like really seeing him, and I feel like subconscious, like in my heart, I'm like, all right, I gotta go get him. Go back home, pick him up. Yalla, you're with me for 8, 9 hours straight. Give my parents a relief. You know what I'm saying? Even before COVID, it was great because before COVID, he was actually going to hype. So for the longest time, we couldn't get him out of the house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, and I'm like, I had to really struggle, me and my family, like to like just get him out of the house, just to get out of the bed and then go to hype. And then he was doing it for like almost a year. It was doing great. And then what happens? COVID comes, screwed up everything.
What was he doing at hype? Like,
he was like cleaning, helping out, and then they have a very good support system. I got to shout out Fadia, Ayman, Farhat. We got to shout out Jackie Humayed. They do a lot for him. They were always around him. And I know I'm being a little like vulnerable, but like even sometimes, bro, like there was this one time I was seeing him and he was eating lunch by himself. Like I acted like I was leaving. I swear I almost cried. Just like looking at Aki, like the guy. And it's not only Aki, but like for me, because I have such a personal touch with him, and plus he's my twin. Like I get emotional. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
So I can't even imagine what other people go through. And I'm so lucky that sometimes I can post them up on my page, and then I get like love from people that I've never met before.
100%.
I see them on the page
because you're showing another side of you. And also, you mentioned like in high school you feel like you didn't do enough, but like the stuff that you're doing right now, I think you're doing a lot. And I think just genuinely speaking, he has a lot to offer your page. He has a lot of he has a lot to offer to the viewers, a different perspective. Whether he talks, whether he doesn't, whether what he says is really making sense to people, that's not the point. He still communicates in his own unique way, and that's what makes him unique and special. How
does he feel about that? Like, how does he feel about going out, interacting with people when you take him out and things like that?
Sometimes he doesn't even like, what's funny, man? And this I love about Aki, and this I love about people that do have, they don't understand the impact they have. So like, I'll never forget one time we're at Custer Close, some person we know, I haven't probably seen since high school. He's like, hey, like he told me hi, whatever. It was like, whatever, like, hey, what's up? But he was like, hey, what's up, Aki? Like he went after this, like, hey, what's up, Aki? And Aki, you know, hey, how are you? Like, like he did it in his way, how Aki talks, and then it was kind of funny because the guy was just like getting ice cream and just walking. Then he laughed basically, but I looked at him like, man, Aki has he has an impact. It's insane. Like,
Yeah.
I love that kid, man.
That's awesome. So how do you want people to approach Aki if they see him, whether it's a stranger, whether it's one of your viewers that sees HFJ on Instagram and they go like, you know, I know a lot of people do that. I've been with you. I've seen people like come up to you randomly, but Aki is there. So how do you want people to come to you and talk to Aki?
Talk to him regular, like Ada, you know what I'm saying? Like just say what's up, you know. If you want us to give him, dab him, hug him, whatever, man. Aki's too lovable.
Yeah. And that's what people with disabilities want most of the time. Because a lot of times people stare. Yeah. People stare, making the person feel uncomfortable. And a lot of times what I've heard from people with disabilities is they just want to be treated like any other normal person. They would just want to be heard, talked to normally. And
you know
all of that.
You know what I think with Aki? I think Aki is the type of guy where he loves genuine affection. Like so, like for instance, I go all day without seeing him. Right? I come back home at night. I swear to God, he'll come sit by me. I'll be playing video games, right? And I'm listening to him, and I'm like, and then he'll start talking to me about like his day. Like even though he probably didn't even do anything, but he'll just start talking to me about everything.
Yeah.
Even a couple days ago, like let's say like he kind of like. I kind of got annoyed. I'm like, Aki, like, I saw him, like, for 2-3 hours just walk. So he'll pace all day in the house. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, Aki, go do something. Go, you know, like, the thing is, his problem is he doesn't go out and do, like, something. You kind of have to, like, get him to do something. Then he'll do it. But just the first step is getting him to do that.
I think that's awesome that you always, like, make him a part of your day. You take him out with you and do everything together. It's amazing. I love to see it. I'm an older brother, and like I respect that, and I love it so much.
I appreciate it, man. Well, thank you. And you know, just one thing I want to say, I'll never forget it. One time I posted this is a long time ago, and I realized Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is giving this platform. There's a reason behind it. It's not about the food. It's not about people knowing me. The wow, even though the wow is great and whatever. It's all whatever. But the most important thing is like having a brother like Aki, right? Let's say I worked a 9-to-5 job, you know, in the real world, right? And not doing what I love, first of all. I wouldn't be able to like pick him up at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, or even let's say some days I'll take him out from the morning to the start.
Yeah.
You know, if I go 2-3 days without seeing him, he knows deep down he wants to go out. I tell him, yo, Aki, get up. Oh, yeah, okay. He'll just go put it as whatever, and then he's ready to go out for what? 12-hour days, because he already knows. So, like, God also giving me this platform and giving me this opportunity to go out and do what I, you know, love to do, but also letting him come with me and enjoy the ride, and also, too, giving my parents some relief, some stress from home, so they can do other things.
That's very deep, man.
SubhanAllah, everything really does happen for a reason. I really believe that.
Yeah, same here.
Do you believe that's like due to the connection that he has with you, that you guys have?
Maybe
you know,
as a
growing
twin?
up together as a twin. Do you believe that's why he loves to go out if he hasn't seen you, you know, in a few days?
Yeah, and plus too, like I'm gonna be honest, like if I don't really take him out, my dad will take him out somewhere, and he actually, you know, what's so funny? There's some times where he'll pick my dad over me.
Oh,
Well, I swear to God, he loves, like, no matter how much he likes hanging out with me. There's days like my dad will like my dad has this thing, right? Like in the spring, summer, he'll take him to like they'll go to the Detroit River in Wyandotte. They'll get some ice cream and they'll sit and chill for like 2 hours.
That's awesome.
That's nice. Different ways of interacting. You know, it's good to experience, you know, different times spent with different people. You know, he gets like a fun aspect with you going out, tasting food and stuff, but also that close time with his dad. You know, walking around, sitting, eating ice cream. Honestly, I love those moments where you're just eating ice cream and you're walking, because you know, you start talking about things, looking at life differently. You know, and I'm sure Aki also thinks about life and, you know, things going on in those moments.
That's a good point you're talking about. Sometimes I'm like, he'll ask me like, hey, am I getting married, or when am I getting married? I don't know. I'm like, Aki, let me get married first, and then we'll come to you.
We gotta find him someone. We gotta find him.
Inshallah. You know what's crazy, man? I know it's off topic, like this is off rip, but imagine like the kids that are home and they're getting older, and then they see their brothers and sisters and getting married, and then actually like thinking about the parent, you know, like that boy or girl, are they like, how are they gonna, like, they're probably thinking about their child, like, hey, are they gonna get married, or like if something happens to me, who's gonna take care of them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there always needs to be a support network for these individuals in our community, and I think like with Aki, for example, you're there for him, your other brothers are there for him, and may God prolong the life of your parents. But it seems like he has a good support network, so you know, I hope that remains.
You know what I told? Hey, like, this is like off topic. I was like, whoever I get married to, so if whoever's watching this, future wife, I'm telling you right now, if my future wife doesn't really like it, and I'm being so straight up with you, and I'll say in front of the girl, her mom, her dad, brother, I don't care who it is, they have to they have to have a heart for Aki as well. You know what I'm saying? Because that guy is literally half my, like, part of my soul. No joke. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I find someone, I want that person to also show Aki the love and the passion that I have. You know what I mean? Because that guy is a piece of me. You know what I'm saying?
I respect that a lot. Do you think, like, what causes you to think that way? Do you think in our community, like, when a person gets married to an individual, let's just say I'm getting married to a girl, do you think, like, my family looks at that girl's family and sees people with disabilities and looks at them a wrong way? Because I've heard some of this. I've heard this idea come about in the past, where if there's a person who you're getting married to, if they have a sibling, they have someone in the family with a disability, it's kind of stigmatized. Do you want to touch on that a little bit? Do you feel like that's a stigmatized thing? I don't know if my question is clear.
No, it is. I think it used to be, but not. I don't think so. Not anymore. I don't know. I don't really see it. I really feel like people are like starting to like be more aware and like really understand. Like, they'll know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and these things are common. You know, like we mentioned that over 1 billion people on Earth have a disability. Yeah. You know, it's very common. We know someone with a disability, whether it's us, whether it's an immediate family member, a cousin, or whatnot, a friend. We are all surrounded by people with a disability. So to stigmatize somebody or to not show love and affection for them because of their condition or their disability is a very narrow and shallow mindset. So I'm glad that you look for that. It's
important, man. Yeah, because like that person, that's every day gonna be like, you know, they say this, like, when you marry someone, you marry the family. Yeah. So you got to know how that family is gonna treat him. And you know what? In my early 20s, like, if I was talking to a girl, I wouldn't even look into that stuff. Now at 27 years old, oh hell yeah, I'm looking at that stuff, and I'm looking like deeply into like there's so much stuff, man, that I know we're talking about marriage right now, but there's so much stuff that really pisses me off. I swear to God, when it comes down to this community sometimes, is like when you got people like I don't know how to explain it. It's like there's more to love than just looking at someone. I don't believe in that, to be honest with you. I really don't believe in like the looks. I believe in like that's 1%. But I swear to God, after going to Dallas, I don't know if I told you this. I was telling some of my friends. So I was with my cousin Mo, and I seen how his marriage was with his wife. It was like literally. I think we did talk about it. We did. It's literally a friendship. It's literally a friendship, and we're forgetting about that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was off topic, but
no. Another reason why that's so, sorry to cut you off. Another reason why that's so, you know, upsetting and disappointing is because, like, our community has the ability to love people for who they are, you know, and sometimes it doesn't show, but that's also where you know, our community comes into play as well, is to teach everybody how to do that. You know, a lot of people are just so quick to jump on somebody like, oh, this person is this person is this, you know. Criticism is good, but I'd much prefer that we teach each other, you know, instead of just like going at each other and you know, being like attacking people, you know, being aggressive with them verbally, physically even sometimes. But, you know, like, teaching them is the first step. You know, that's the first step to any kind of strong relationship. Think of our teachers, you know, our own families. They teach us as we grow up, from when we're babies till whenever, you know, even after we get married, they're still teaching us. And teachers in school do that as well, in the workplace. So it's upsetting that, you know, we have the ability and we're not really making the most of it, but at the same time we can, and you know, it has to start somewhere, and even if it starts with us, that's a start, you know.
Yeah, I think we criticize Dearborn a lot, but we have a lot of great ideas that come from our community, a lot of great programs. When we were starting out our disabilities research group and like reaching out to people, reaching out to mentors, like, there wasn't one person that didn't accept our idea and like try to help us grow, try to help make it better. And like I feel like a lot of the youth and like just a lot of the community is making these programs. So I think there's a lot of love in our community. I really like it.
There's a lot more love than hate.
Yeah. It's easier to focus on the negatives in life than it is to focus on the positives.
Yeah.
But in reality, I think Dearborn is doing a lot of good things, and we need to be grateful and appreciative of that, and continue pushing forward with these initiatives.
That's what I always try to do on my page, is like always show like the love and the positivity of Dearborn. Even though there's days where I'm like, man, I want to leave this place, but deep down, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm like, okay, there's no better place. And when I was in Dallas with you that Monday, when you guys left on Sunday, even though I love Dallas and everything, I'm like,
You still miss Dearborn.
yeah,
you
missed
know?
it.
There's some aspect to Dearborn that's different. That's why we have it in our name, because we want to focus on Dearborn. This is probably a good time to take a quick break, but we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. We hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. If you or someone you know would be interested in being a guest on the podcast, or if you have any feedback, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at DreamDearborn, or on our website at dreamdearborn.org, or on our email at disabilitiesproject@umich.edu. Thank you.
All right, I'd like to welcome you guys back from the break.
Go ahead.
So, Abe, I just wanted to touch on an earlier point that you made about how your page is bigger than food. And I think the really cool thing with food is that it's a way to connect people. It's a way to like spread ideas. And so
It's the most universal thing to bring people together. You can be a doctor, you can be an engineer, you can be a scientist, you can be a teacher, you can be a lawyer. But what? At the end of the day, and even this too, when it comes to lunchtime, you're at work, you gotta go eat.
You gotta eat, man.
Yeah.
So hey, let's go to HFJ. Let's go, baby.
oh, you don't even know how many times like I wasn't sure what I wanted, like where I wanted to go. I wanted to go eat somewhere. Like I just pull up your page and like one time you literally posted, it was like a cafe, like a place in Birmingham. I'm like, oh, this place looks good. You literally posted it like 5 minutes ago, and like I ended up going to that place that same day.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you? How far away were you from that?
I was in Dearborn. I just like
Literally?
right, screw it.
That's crazy.
See what impact you have on people, man.
Hey, you guys hit me up. Let's start going out, man. Some days I get so bored. I was telling Rashad in
down,
Dales,
man.
I'm like, bro, I get bored. I go by myself just to get content.
Yeah.
Just to like, you know. But yeah.
We should probably get back on the disability conversations. I think we've touched on a lot of good points. Just like reflection so far, what do you think so far of like this episode talking about, because you've been talking about a lot of vulnerable things so far.
Yeah.
So have you ever spoken about disabilities in this much depth before?
No, never. Like this is like a long, deep conversation. Usually, like I'll bring like little snippets on social media, whatnot. One time I went on like a rampage on like my story, not in a bad way, but just like, hey, we really gotta do something with mental health. Because I remember like during the whole COVID situation, whatever. You know what we don't have in Dearborn, and I'm like still like mind boggled, is how do we not have like a hype facility just for people with disability?
They created something similar to that for people with disabilities. I forget what it's called, but they started.
There's one in Sterling Heights. I know that, but I think it closed down.
Oh yeah, but they created a physical like education program for people with disabilities. They shared a flyer on it on Instagram. I'm blank on what it's called exactly, but we could definitely like attach some information on that in the link below.
Yeah, send me. I'll share on my Instagram.
Yeah, but you're right, 100%. We need to have more of these resources, more things to accommodate individuals with disabilities. Rashad actually knows of some programs that focus on people with disabilities. If you want to talk about that briefly, Rashad.
Yeah, so I know there's a program called STEP. It's not specific to Dearborn, but they do a lot with people with disabilities. It's usually like an after. So my sister, she has Down syndrome, and she started off, going to the typical schools, right?
Yeah,
Etzel Ford. She graduated. She went on to Michael Berry, and then she went to Hype, and then they said there's nothing more like we could do at this stage because she's already gotten to like a certain level. So now it's time for like career development, So they referred her to STEP, the program, and then she's been with them for the past year and a half. It's been all virtual, unfortunately, up till now, but she's so. Honestly, I think they do everything. Like whatever the people want to do, like the people with disabilities, whatever they want to do, like they'll accommodate that and they'll help them out. My sister, for example, she wants to be a chef, so they're gonna start her up with the program in the summer, because they'll be back in person and stuff, so it'll be a little bit easier.
And why haven't you told me about you've never told me about that?
It's part of who I am. I mean, she's helped make me who I am, and so has everybody around me. So I'm always grateful for that.
How old is your sister?
She's 25.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Maybe we can create an episode where we talk about that.
For sure.
And Down syndrome, because that is a common disability. I wanted to touch on another point, Abe, if you don't mind. Like, we talked about this briefly, like as a group, about like bala, like where in our community disabilities are seen as a calamity for a family. Was it ever seen as such by your family or the community, where like people say, oh, this is like a calamity, this is a test from God, as if it's like a negative thing that came to your family as a result of something that you guys did in the past or something like that?
Yeah, like to be honest, like there's days where like my mom or my father, like, you know how parents are, they have already a lot of things going on with them, so it's like, oh, why us, or this and that. But then there's days where you're like, well, I'm pretty sure they reflect as well, and they're like, alhamdulillah, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, there's a reason why he's in my life. Like, even with me, like, the reason I think why I am with people and the way I care so much about people, even though they're not my brother, my sister, like there's even times like I want to do things for people that there's so many things, like, I'm not trying to be like egotistic or anything, but I'll do things like for people in the community and I don't want anything back from them. And I think it is with like having Aki there and knowing like, how he is and how I want to treat him. It makes me want to give so much love to the world, and something, this is what I actually put a couple days ago on my story. I forgot to mention this, where this is what I believe, that if you're living your life and you're married, right, and you have kids, and you're just like living in just, you're married, and then you just live your life for you and your family and your intermediate circle of friends. I truly believe it's not. I don't want to say selfish because everyone has different. I just think for me that's selfish. Like, I have to be that person that's selfless. I would rather give out my love and like even if I'm married, I want my wife to know that, hey, we're going here today. We're gonna be helping out this cause. We're gonna be doing this. You want to ride with me, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like this is my life. Like, I feel like this is my purpose in life, is to show people more than just going to work, going to eat at a restaurant on a Friday, Saturday night, or then Saturday going to your in-laws. Like, I don't believe in a routine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think like serving others teaches you a lot.
Yeah.
About yourself, about your community. And I think you have a lot to learn from everybody that you interact with. Oftentimes we frame it as working with the less fortunate or, the underserved, as if they have nothing to offer us.
But it's really just another human.
Yeah, it's another human being, and you have as much to learn from them as they have to learn from you. I mean, they're helping you out as much as you're helping them out. So I think it's a two-way street, and we're trying to shift that idea of people with disabilities, a person with Down syndrome, a person with autism, regardless of what that disability is in the family. It's not a calamity. You could consider it a test if you'd like, but we had a conversation with the scholar. We all have different things that we have to work with and accommodate accordingly, adjust our plans accordingly. And it's just another one of those things. It could be a blessing if you make it a blessing, or it could be something bad if you make it bad. It's whatever you make out of the situation, I think. But I do think it is actually a blessing, because it really shifts your perspective on life and allows you to think of things in a different way.
I just want to go back to Aki real quick. So you said earlier that he was he paces a lot back and forth in the house, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever sat down with him or called him over and asked him what he's thinking about? Because surely, I mean, he must be thinking about something or worried about something.
Yeah,
so.
I do. But it's very hard for him to put his words together and really tell me what's going on.
Does he have any way of communicating? Like, do you guys have an iPad for him or something? Like,
he'll text me off his iPad. So sometimes, I don't know if you guys see him, I'll be on vacation, right? And he'll tell me, where are you? He's really missing. Yeah. When I go on vacation to these trips, where are you? I'll be here. I'm like, where are you at? I'm home. And then he'll randomly say, I love you. And bro, that just, when he says that, wallah, I'm not joking. Bro, I'm a little kid, bro. I'm bro, I love you too, Aki. You're the man, this and that. So he'll have that he'll talk to me through the iPad, or he'll just come up to me. I'm we'll just start talking, and he's sometimes fixated on certain things, and other than that, that's why it's so important to stay out there and communicate, bro. Because I swear to God, being at home, man, it's you're killing your brain.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what COVID did. Human interaction was gone.
Yeah, the pandemic affected a lot of people, and you know, the concerns of people with disabilities grew further. But it seems like when you have a close knit family like yours, it could actually be beneficial for people with disabilities. It could be good for them.
It was kind of I don't know if you guys felt. Did you guys feel like it was a blessing in disguise, COVID?
Yeah, to some extent, like certain angles of it for sure were blessings.
Like staying with the family, not worrying about
suicide rates went down. By the way, suicide rates went down in the general U.S. population.
Yeah.
But you know, certain minority communities like the black community actually increased in suicide. But actually, these past 2 years were among the lowest of suicide, and because suicide has been increasing for the past 20 years. Yeah. We don't want to get too much into that because that's a whole separate discussion.
Unfortunately, like a lot of people did lose their lives. A lot of people did get affected by the virus. But like personally, like in terms of like, I feel like I gave a lot of people a chance to grow and reflect.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about one thing before we do finish. I don't know if it's gonna be the last thing, but I wanted to ask you. You know, I'm an older brother. You know my brother Hassan, how much I love him. I want to ask you, like, what's your favorite thing about Acky? You know, we talked about so many great things about him, but I really want to.
I think the favorite thing.
A favorite thing, or
I don't know if it's gonna sound corny or not, but just giving this guy a hug and kissing him at night, saying "I love you, Acky," and he was like, "I love you too, Abe." Like that, I don't care what anything is. That's the greatest thing ever. It's to knowing that he's safe, he feels safe with you, he's in the same household as you, and just showing that genuine love to him. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
Beautiful, man.
And then taking him out, man, when he's happy. That's another thing too. When you take him out and he's happy and he's like genuinely smiling and laughing, because there's times I'll take him out where he's like, he's not really feeling it. You could tell that day he's having a bad day, but the day where he's really laughing, and then sometimes you know what I'll do? I should do a vlog one day and just see how we are before we do HFJ. I'll literally blast the music. I'll go like this.
Oh, you should do that for sure.
And then Aki's like this, and then he gets happy because right when he loves music.
Yeah,
you know, I know sometimes for the religious community, you know, it's haram and all that, but like for Acky, man, we're gonna blast it out. He's gonna get happy.
Yeah. That's awesome. I really love how you have all these positive experiences with him. I remember oftentimes seeing him here during Friday prayer, and he's just always like a positive influence for those around him. I always see him, he's just chilling with you.
He has, the most purest heart you'll ever. He doesn't know how to hate someone, even though he's mad, or let's say he's mad throughout the day. Even if someone's talking to him, never yell at him. But when he gets home, it's a whole different story because he feels comfortable around us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. It's important to have that kind of outlet, you know. Like when he goes home, he's comfortable. He lets it out. You know, he doesn't want to bottle anything in. I can't even talk. But yeah, no, it's very important to have that, and I'm glad you guys can provide that for him, and hopefully, you know, other people can provide that for him and other people with disabilities in our community as well. You know, like we're trying to be friends with anybody we meet, you know, in our journey, starting this Discovering Disabilities in Dearborn podcast, and even with our research, which is a whole nother aspect of what we do. But yeah, we want to form these connections and these bonds with people that will last, like, you know, a lifetime. So
that's this outlet right here, like inshallah going forward, this is gonna be amazing. Cause like I can't wait for the next episode or the next and the next, like hearing other people's stories. Cause I didn't realize right now through this 30-40 minute discussion that we were gonna get this in depth, and we were so chill about it, like, you know.
100%. Everyone has something to offer, and like when we have a guest like you who is very open about talking about these kinds of things, that creates a platform for future guests to also feel that comfort. So I think it's a positive cycle that we're trying to create, and
it's a really raw podcast, and I like it. And we're just like, I didn't feel that vibe that we're like on a podcast. Usually when I get in podcast, I'll be like this, I'm stiff, I'm looking around. No, I'm like right here, I'm chilling, got the coffee, about to put my feet up.
We were actually thinking about grabbing some food, honestly, but we didn't want to get too distracted and too comfortable, or we'll probably fall into a food coma or something.
Exactly.
That's it for the questions that I have. This has been a great discussion. If any of the other hosts have any questions, or if you want to talk about any last things,
probably one thing I want to say is to everyone, inshallah, whoever watches this, just keep spreading positive love, genuineness. No matter how many tough days that you have, just keep throwing that positivity and love, and then one day we will see like a lot of different, and like inshallah bigger things and a lot of changes to come.
Inshallah. Yeah. You gave us a lot of credit, but you know, without you being vulnerable and being open with us, this episode wouldn't have happened. So thank you so much for
No problem, man. Well, I had a
Coming up.
honestly, I had a great time. I could have went an extra 20, 30 minutes, but we gotta cut it.
Yeah. No, and look, we can always have future discussions.
Yeah.
I'm definitely down for that. I think.
You know what I want to do after out of this?
Yeah.
Forget this podcast. Just let's go one day and just chill. And I'm being serious. Like me and Rashad were having a like I like to like sit down with people and actually have like deep conversations. I don't know if people know
Like
that.
the one we had in the summer, bro.
Yeah, like I like deep conversations. I
Yeah.
think that's why I don't like to be around the same people sometimes, because when you're around like your same friends every day and you guys are just chilling, there's nothing really deep to talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like we gotta do this even outside of the camera and just having a good time and just also bringing Aki. I think what we can do is we can bring Aki and we can do something bigger.
That would be
Oh, yeah.
awesome, man. Yeah,
Alright.
we'd love to have him on. Well, this has been Discovering Disabilities in Dearborn. Thank you again, Halal Food Junkie,
Thank you.
Ibrahim. This has been amazing. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you.